Hi, I'm Bruce Soord from the Pineapple Thief. We got a new album coming out this summer, Dissolution, and this is Morow.com. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I remember when because the title came at the end when the album was done, had the concept, and when you look at the word dissolution, it's quite a hard word to define. You know, that it's used in quite, you know, the dissolving of the church, dissolving of parliament, things like that. But I look at it as a dissolution. I look at the word dissolution more than anything, solution, about that it's not the solution. And that the concept of the record, which is focusing on the technological revolution that we've lived through and how it's become a negative thing, and how actually it's almost like the dissolution of society, you know. I don't want to sound too pretentious or too up my own arse about it, because but it's just caused so many problems in my life and in people who I know, and that really inspired the record. It's a record still about relationships and people and fabric of relationships and people who experiences that I've been through, but all played out through this social media and everybody in connected, but in a bad way. So yeah, and to cut long story short, that's what it is. Absolutely, yeah. So even though there's lots of metaphorical references to conflict, so there's about opening fire and taking shots at people, about, I mean, not naming any names. The first song goes on about how you can, I can get you wherever you are, is because anybody can cause harm from their phone or from their keyboard, and it happens to me, and and so that's the sort of the metaphorical references may appear political, but no, it's not. It's very sort of at a very sort of human, personal level. Definitely not, and I hope people don't take that from it. I mean, it's metaphorical. It's about trolls. It's about people who go online and are just so nasty. It's about, you can't just open fire on everyone. You can't just be so horrible to everybody just because you are behind the cover of your keyboard or your phone or whatever. So it's generally just telling someone off for being mean. Well, funny enough, White Mist, the title's probably not particularly relevant, because I was walking in my town in really early, because I've got young children at school, and I was walking home, and there's just this you have this sort of couple of minutes of peace, and I have this amazing view walking down this hill, and all I could see was this white mist and sort of draped over all these green hills near where I lived. And I walked back to the studio, and I just had that image in my head of this white mist, and then I just wrote the first section of the song. So that's why I called it White Mist, and so I could come up with some idea that it's to do with like a mist, but it's not. But the actual song is about someone breaking down and losing their mind, and doing irrational things, walking away from their family. So being very irrational and unbearable to everyone around them, and then leaving because they think that they're going to have some kind of new life. It is a bit of a story, and that's why you have the lines about you're pushing your luck and you're pushing us down, and then you have the line about you didn't test the water and now you're flailing so that's what the song's about. You can let go. Well, yeah, I should speak to the label because funny enough, on the special edition, there's an acoustic version of Threatening War on there, where I've chopped out, when I've just made it much more of a single style, and it works really well. So yeah, I'll have to speak to the label about that.
What is it about, this song?
Well, again, that's about a couple, and it could well be me, could be anybody, but who break up in conflict, who fight, the Threatening War line is about people not really giving the time and attention to their lives and their relationships, and giving up too easily. And I think that seems to be a modern phenomenon that I can see of people that I know, that there's far too much instant, you need instant every day, some kind of instant gratification, otherwise I'm just going to throw it out. And that's actually moved on to relationships and families, is where people are just not giving it enough. That's what that song's about. It kind of just became it, just naturally came together. We did 2 short tours together, so we spent a lot of time on the road, in the vans, in hotels, and we had a good time. We ended up talking about what the future, and it became clear that Gavin was up for it, we were up for it, and so yeah, Gavin is actually officially a member of the band, and we're already talking about 2019. And talking about what we do, working around the King Crimson schedule. So yeah, it's worked out really well. It was really good because it was nice to be able to share the songwriting right at the beginning. So I would come up with an idea, a melody, or even a riff, just a riff. And before, rather than going on with that myself, I'd send it off to Gavin using technology, and then he would jam in his studio, send it back to me, chop it up, maybe extend it, maybe put some drum rhythmic ideas in, and then I would go, wow, this is interesting, and then I would carry on, and that's how the whole album really developed. And then of course once you had the core arrangement, then Steve and John would come in and do that. So I was really quite happy to take a back seat in terms of finishing, saying it must be like this, it must be like that. It was nice that I could just focus on coming up with the melodies, the vocals and the guitars, and letting everybody else do their thing. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, a distance jam. Yeah, it was as close as you can come to sitting in a room and jamming. Yeah, so it just takes a little bit longer because I'd come up with an idea and then Gavin would have to record. But he's got his drums all set up in the studio, so it's very quick. But yeah, it was really it was really refreshing.
At no point you got together in one room?
No, we were talking about it. We said, well, I was going to go up to Gavin's for a couple of days and just jam, which, but the album just came together, so we didn't need to. But I think for the next album, we might well do that. Just have a session and just see because what I realised with this record was it just takes you to places that you didn't know you were going to go, you didn't know existed. You're like, oh, that's good, and then I do something, and then Gavin would do something, and there would be this interplay and playing off each other, and so you wonder what would happen if you were in the same room, where it would go. So yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. 6 months, but that was 6 months of waking up every day, and that's all I thought about. So, and we kind of wrote and mixed as we went, so I was mixing, so the whole process was an ongoing, so we could almost get to the point where we could say, yes, it's finished, and press stop, and the whole album was done and mixed. But it was very intense, it wasn't a case of just switching on for 6 hours a day and being, it was with me all day, every day, all night. I'd be asleep and I'd be thinking about songs, and so it was nice to finish. It was nice I don't think I could have gone on much longer in 6 months. It is an LP. Yes, it's back to the sort of 70s, sort of 42 minutes. Yeah, because Your Wilderness was just over 40 minutes. I think this one's 42, 43 minutes. So enough for a vinyl. Yeah, I think that's about the right length. I think we went through a stage in the 90s when CDs came out where people were filling them up, making them 70 odd minutes, 74. I've done a 74-minute album. It's too long, I think. I'd rather do more. I'd rather bring out more records and keep them at 40 odd minutes. Well, no, it was just an incredibly intense time because I was on my own and drive. And you look at the map and you just think, oh, that's all right. Go to Phoenix, yeah. Go up to Denver, yeah. Doesn't look very long. And then when you actually get on the road and you're on, you know, 9 hours of driving through the desert, getting pulled over by the police twice, yeah, because I was going. I think it's because I had LA plates driving through Kansas. So over the high plains of Kansas, I got pulled over twice, and because I just looked shifty, I think, and I was going slightly faster than the speed limit, but it was all good. And you know, I get to the Kansas gig, and I make a joke about the fact I've just been pulled over twice, right? You know, and how the country is a lot bigger than it looks on the map and things like that. And the US audiences were just so welcoming and warm, and so yeah, it was good fun. And obviously the band, Stephen Wilson's band, were great to be around, but it was difficult because they didn't have any room in their tour bus, so I'd say goodbye to them on their bus, and then I'd sleep in a really, really manky Motel 6 or whatever they are, and then get up early and drive to the next show. So it was quite, I don't think I could have gone on longer than the 6 or 7 shows that I did. But no, it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. Well, we're coming to Paris on September the 15th at the Maroquinerie. I can't, terrible, aren't I? So yes, we played there years ago actually, I think. But so that's close to selling out already. So that's good for us. And in September, and then we're going to hopefully tour again in 2019. Go over to the States. So yeah, it's busy, exciting times actually. Yeah, it's good.